and welcome back to some more Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. But this time, this is gonna be kind of a weird video, and bear with me, because we've got a lot happening in this video. And I'm going to try to make these next few... the next few minutes, the next several minutes actually, a lot simpler. And what we are going to do today, and this is going to be a very lengthy video, and it has to be, right? There's no choice. I have no choice. I said I would cover all the Pokemon you can catch in this game, and I am going to do so. We are going to do so at a very rapid pace. I'm going to read the notes, and then we're going to go through it all. We're going to go step by step, Pokemon by Pokemon, that you can get right now. We will come back if there's a HMUs, like if there's a Pokemon you can get when you get an HM, any of those, I will come back, we will talk about them, and we'll move on. However, we're going to start this off with a Pokemon we saw last video, an Absol. Or I believe we saw him in the last video. I don't remember. I actually have no idea. I don't remember. But we have Absol, a Pokemon with the ability to warn us about nature, is unfortunately a pure dark type. It's a shame though, it's incredible looking and has a pretty good attack stat. But much like many Pokemon, if you're not able to take a hit, you aren't going to be as useful as you need to be. However, as one of the few dark types in this particular game, and the fact that you can catch it earlier than the other Sinnoh games can be seen as a good thing, but again, good luck getting some use out of it. I am not kidding, it's relatively frail. Next up, will be... I'm going to say if you can get a Pokemon in here that you can in other routes. You can catch a Weasel, a Budew, a Baneri, Cascoon, Cherubi, Combee, Croagunk, but that actually brings us up to our next Pokemon, which would be Croagunk. Anyone else remember Brock's Croagunk being that guy and being that crazy strong in the anime? As you can see, it has a very interesting typing of poison fighting. Some would say that it's a lot of weaknesses, and it surely can't be uber useful, but that's where you're wrong. While it's on the slow side, while it is slow now, and when it evolves, it can use attacks. Its attack sets can hit fairies, pretty strong, and some other Pokemon with strong moves. However, if you haven't given this frog a chance, you should. It's really good. Something that we haven't seen quite yet, but we're not gonna be really thinking about it too much, is Duskull. Duskull is a Pokemon that I can't really recommend due to some big time issues with the Grand Underground and some flaws that BDSP has, which I will go over another time. But as for why, you cannot fully evolve Duskull until post-game. You don't get the item it needs until later. If you're playing Platinum, go for it when you can get it. But for now, it's not useful. It's a great bulky Pokemon, and it's one of the better answers at Ghost types, but it's just not good. Another Pokemon that we can get is Elekid. Only available in Brilliant Diamond, Elekid is going to be something of an interest to us. It is a Pokemon that I am actually going after. That is our next team member. I want it to be our next team member. We can get it right now. Elekid! I already hear the questions, but why? You cannot evolve it fully. As I just said with Duskull's bio, you can't really fully evolve it until post-game, but you can. Elekid has a chance to be holding the item we need it to for it to evolve. But outside of that, getting into it as a Pokemon. It's one of the few electric type options. It's a fun one, at least, and instead of being a special attacker, it's more physically based. It also has a unique ability, which I will go over it when it evolves. You can get a Gastrodon here. That actually brings us to another bio. Something that you can get really early. A water ground type that has no reason to be as good as it is. Everything I said about Inshalla's bio is super accurate to them. Honestly, it's just the ability that propels it. Sword Drain is incredible. Like, seriously, it can legit save runs if you are in desperate need of it to. I'm not kidding. Gastrodon is really, really effective and really, really wonderful. Moving onward, we have Gligar, which, much like Duskull, I have the unfortunate responsibility to say if you're playing BDSP, do not expect this one to be good. You cannot evolve it into Gliscor. Gligar and Gliscor, though, are great Pokemon. Ground Flying is wonderful and fun. It learns interesting moves and it has its own strengths. You just can't evolve it because you can't get the item it needs until post-game. It's awful, dude. It is awful. Next up is Houndoom. While its pre-evolved form is catchable in Platinum, its fully evolved form is available right here and now. It's a really strong option, especially in this particular game, due to the fact that you have some grass types coming up, and it does great for psychic type Pokemon as well. Houndoom is a wonderful option. It is a wonderful option. I will say it kind of isn't the best Pokemon ever, but if you're looking for a fire type and you're not using Infernape, you can find better. You can't find much better outside of Ponyta. We're moving right along. This is going a little bit faster than I thought it would, so that's at least good. Next up, we have Lickitung. Lickitung is one of my favorite normal types, and when you can possibly encounter it, you could actually have Licky immediately, because all it needs is Rollout to evolve. As it serves as a Pokemon, it's bulky and has access to great moves. I liked using one with Belly Drum and being able to do Belly Drum sweeps. It's incredible for that, actually. Next up is a Pokemon that we've seen quite a bit, which I'm realizing, there it is, quite a bit, and that is Magnemite. One of the many electric type Pokemon available in this game, and if you don't want to use a Shinx or use any of the other underground Pokemon, this is a great choice. Electric Steel types are so good. It's slow, but it hits really hard. I've used this one before and I highly recommend it. It's a really strong option for an electric type. You can't go wrong with it. You really can't. Next up is the counterpart to Elekid in Magby, only available in Shining Pearl and Platinum. I should say, Elekid is a Brilliant Diamond exclusive. I should mention that. Magby offers another option in terms of fire types. It's a pretty good one. It has decent special attack, but it is also slow and weak defensively. Pure Fire isn't really the best. The reason why Pure Fire is weaker than Pure Electric is Electric only has the one weakness, Fire has many. Along with most Pokemon in this game, it requires traits. Much like Electivire, you can catch Magby with what it needs to evolve. Moving right along. We're almost, I believe we're almost there. Is Pinsir. Only available in Shining Pearl. We have the second cousin of it, which is Scyther, which we'll get into in a little bit. Only available in the Grand Underground in Shining Pearl. Pinsir is available. Both abilities are decent, but not great. But what really holds Pinsir back is the typing. Pure Bug type is not very good, especially in the modern age of Pokemon, where more and more bug types have gotten better around Pinsir. For instance, Scyther, has so much more going for it than a Pinsir does. And I'll explain once we get to Scyther. Next up is Routes. A Pokemon that isn't available in Pearl and Diamond, and is available later on in Platinum, is honestly a great Pokemon. We get to pick it up here if we so choose to. Choosing to either evolve it into the incredible God of War, or the strong physical attacker Gallade, either option is great. I've used both and they are both amazing. Highly recommend either one. They are amazing Pokemon. I will say that I think Gardevoir has more potential to be useful in battles, while Gallade is better for wild Pokemon. And in the instances of catching legendaries. Next up is Roselia. This Pokemon desperately needed an evolution so long ago, and it got one in Gen 4, and now it's seen as one of the better grass-type options, as far as grass poison types are concerned. At least to me, that is. It has the potential to be a great special attacker with above average speed, and it just does great things due to the power-ups of having access to fairy-type moves. It does have access to those, by the way. Next up is our good friend of Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn is a species that got even stronger when it got to Generation 4, and Rhyhorn and its line are so much fun because Rock and Ground is a bad type, or a type that contains so many weaknesses. When it evolves, it has the potential to have Solid Rock, which reduces damage from super effective moves by 25%. Which basically saves the Pokemon from being absolutely decimated to being able to live a few hits and dish out heavy damage. However, while Rhyhorn and Rhydon are easily obtainable in this, getting a Rhyperior is not possible. You have to wait till post-game. However, I don't necessarily think that's as bad as a downgrade as, let's say, Dusclops to Dusknoir and Gligar to Gliscor, because at least with the Rhyhorn Rhydon, those two have at least good moves to back it up. At least that's that. And finally, we get to Scyther. Man, oh man, we get to one of my favorite Pokemon ever. I'm going to gush about this forever. This is the Brilliant Diamond exclusive. Scyther, and by extension, my favorite Pokemon, Scizor, are amazing Pokemon. While it's only available here, and down here in the Grand Underground, it's an option in Platinum, but much later. Honestly though, it's great. Well, it's a Scyther, it's fast and has a decent attack stack, but when it evolves, its stat spread changes, it drops its speed, focuses more on defense, and gets the Steel type as a Pokemon. And yes, we're catching it. Yes, we caught it for the squad. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. Cannot wait to see how it does in this. Next up is Skorupi, a poison bug type that might often be called bad, but I refuse to do so. Skorupi is a very interesting and good Pokemon. It hits relatively hard and has a great typing, especially when it evolves. Dravion is definitely excellent. This is a great Pokemon also because since we are playing BDSP, you can get this earlier than when you're supposed to. It's an excellent answer for the grass types. It's excellent. Just excellent. Next up on our wonderful, wonderful list of Pokemon is Swablu, one of the very few Pokemon that can be a fun option as a flying type. Thereon evolves into Altaria, a dragon type Pokemon, which I wish was a fairy type. I wish it was Dragon Fairy. It would make sense for it to be that, but alas, it is not. It's surprisingly a defensive Pokemon that has more stats and defense and special defense. It learns helpful moves, but it's honestly not that special, to be honest. It really, really misses its Mega Evolution. It really, really does. I'm gonna take a drink real quick. Water on standby, my throat's dry. Swinub! It's an Ice-type Pokemon. While it is an Ice-type, you will find a pretty strong option here, if you choose this one. But by the time it evolves, it has massive HP and attack and can definitely dish out pretty dangerous attacks. However, it is a very weak Pokemon defensively. Not only is its stats super bad but for defense, but its type is bad for it as well. But hey, I like having a hard-hitting Pokemon like this. It is really fun to use if you get a chance to. Next up is something that we haven't seen yet but is extremely rare here. It is Teddiursa. Only available in Shining Pearl. Teddiursa is normally a Pokemon I'd say stay away from, but man, it hits like a truck, has great abilities, and it's sad we don't get to see it be its best self because we aren't playing Legends Arceus or Scarlet or Violet. But you can't go wrong with this big old bear. Or as a kid, I'm gonna let you in a little fun fact about your humble creator, YouTube creator. I used to call Teddiursa Moon Bear. And I still do that to that day because I think it's adorable. Also, Teddiursa is one of the cutest Pokemon on the planet. Just saying. Next up is Togepi. Togepi, a Pokemon that is after everyone's hearts. I mean, come on. It's the original baby Pokemon. It's far too cute for its own good. But as a Pokemon, personally, if you're looking for a flying type, this one turns into one of the best options ever. It being fairy flying is absolutely broken. Combining fairy, which is the best offensive type in the game, and flying is just brutal. My recommendation, though, as far as Togepi goes, get Serene Grace. It doubles the chances of moves' additional effects. For instance, think of getting a double chance to get Ancient Power to pop up. That's how beautiful and broken that is. And on that note, that is all of the underground Pokemon we can get at the moment. So, that is everything we can catch as of right now. Now, that didn't go nearly as long as I thought it would, which is great for us, because I want to show that I did get some new items. Here's the Quick Ball and Dive Ball. I want to go over these really fast because I didn't go over the Quick Ball. I used one but never explained it. A somewhat different Pokeball that has more of a successful catch rate if used at the start of a wild encounter. These are very useful for when you're like running around trying to catch a specific thing and you're trying to do so fast. And then you've got a Dive Ball. normally it works underwater, but really the description's kind of wrong. It does work on Pokemon, on water type Pokemon. I got a green shard, a blue shard, a sunstone, a rare candy, 3 heart scales. Those are important. Everstones and a moonstone. We also have the Shockwave TM, Shockwave TM, which never misses. Calm Mind. The boss can learn Calm Mind. That's insane. Swagger TM from down here. And we also have the Skull Fossil. I'm not going over that yet. We'll get to it when I get to it. And then Starpiece. These two are, the 3 of the 4 of those are great for selling. But, since we got through that, let's see if I can find an Elekid real quick. Well, I still have time to. If I can't find it in the next couple minutes, we'll end off the episode, but just wanted to let that rest. I'm very, very happy that those bios did not take as long as I thought they would. You have no idea how long those are. You have no idea how big and massive the Grand Underground is, and to be done with it for now is great. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't like the Grand Underground. Oh, also, I did dig up an electric statue. An electric type statue. It was a Rotom, which we can't go over that just yet. So, we can't go over that quite yet. In Pokemon Platinum we could, but I digress. Ah, I see, I have to go... I'll cut ahead. I'm gonna cut ahead. So I'll see y'all in a second when I get to the area that Elekid spawns in. Alright, we are back. So what I've decided to do instead is we have a few areas that we haven't discovered yet, so I figure we might as well go through that. Might as well. There's not really much else to them, so let's just go through them. Because we've got, like, 4 or 5 areas left that we haven't explored fully. They don't hold the Pokemon we need, though, so it's not available yet. We haven't been able to get it yet. I want to see if I can get an Elekid with it. I really want to see if I can. I will say the Elekid only has a 10% chance to hold the item that we need it to hold, so it might be smart to grab a Pokemon that has pickup for an ability. That way, if you use like a move like Knockoff, you can guarantee to get the item that you need. It's always useful like that, but if you want to just like brute force it, you can always just catch multiple, which I will probably catch multiple anyway, and maybe not show it on screen. So that could be a thing. And I'll do the same thing that I did with the oh, we got a bottle of PP up, which is always nice. This is that sand cave. There's Rhyhorn I mentioned earlier. I'll look it up and see if Rhyhorn can get hits, if it has a hold item available to it. Or at least it can hold it when you catch it, but I'm nearly 100% certain that you can't. But yeah. Thankful. I hope you enjoyed my mad rambling about other Pokemon. I hope you did, because my goodness, that was long. Even I know when I talk too long. Is this what we needed? Oh, I didn't go over one, but you know what? We're gonna save that for later. I know that that's the one that you can get right now, but I know that Ghastly is one of the ones we can get right now, and I should go over it right now, here and now, but I'll wait. We've had a whole lot of bios today. I'm not really interested. I actually don't think we can get Elekid right now. Huh. I actually think we made a boo-boo. I don't think we can get Elekid right now. At least not in this present cave. In this present cave system. Also, I need to get out of here and dodge. That's an Onyx. That will kill both my Pokemon. Just trying to get to the item over there. Piece of charcoal! That's nice. That's going on to, onto Vegeta immediately. Alright. I don't think the Dazzling Cave can have it, can it? We'll check. I'm not entirely sure. If not, I might adjust the team just a touch, but I would like to use a Elekid. Because I've never used one. It's a lot of you. I don't want you. I actually don't think we can get this right now. You can always, if you really, really want to go and get what you need, you could always go and, like, go to a different area of the game and try it, but we're not gonna do that. If we can't get it right now, that's fine by me, because we don't really need another team member right now, because we have we have 2 new ones already, and they are desperately needing their own, like, their separate time to shine. So I think that's gonna end off to this episode here. We covered a lot of new Pokemon that you can catch. Except one with that Ghastly down there, but we're not going to cover that until a little bit later. You can get it somewhere else, too. I recommend getting it here, but you can get it somewhere else. We're not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. We'll cover it when we get to the area that it's catchable in. So, for now, we are gonna get out of here. And I'm going to end off the video here. Thanks for watching. I apologize that this was just a pure Bio-athon. I will see you all later. Bye-bye.